It is October in Pittsburgh. When I first arrived, the snows were still falling on the ground. Now, I'm about to see that season hit again. As this channel grows, more and more questions come my way. Let me set the record straight. Hey guys, so it's Phil. So I have been out now in Pennsylvania for a better part of a year. And so I thought, now that the leaves are falling and the seasons are changing, that I'd get outside, walk around for a little bit, enjoy it while I can. And, you know guys, I thought this would be an absolutely perfect time to just take a moment and bring it down a little bit and just answer some of your more popular questions, because as the channel grows, there are more and more people who may not have seen every video, who may not completely understand where I come from. And I thought, let's take a breath and let's do that right now. Okay, so here we go. And hello everyone, welcome back. Oh boy, buddy just wanted to hop up real quick. Yeah, as I was saying in the bumper, there's been some growth in the channel lately, and there's been a lot of people who've been coming in and asking a lot of questions, which I love. I love questions, guys, so please keep them coming. But this is a great chance for us to really have a sit down and allow me to reintroduce myself to those of you who might be new to this channel and perhaps maybe get a better idea of where it is that I am coming from. Now, before we really get these answers coming to you, I want to give a really big shout out to Patreon members as well as the YouTube subscribers. I want to thank you guys so much. There's going to be more coming out to you. It's been a little slow going, so for that I do apologize. I'm a one-man band, so again, I apologize, guys. But on Patreon, for certain levels, there are some lessons that are taking place right now into specifically my theory, and which we're going to get into a little bit here today, as a matter of fact, into what paranormal is. And there's also some podcasts that are going to be available for general Patreon, and that will trickle into the YouTube subscribers as well. So, all right, guys, let's get this going. Here we go. This is absolutely 100% real. Now, I understand that YouTube is almost like the value store of entertainment channels. If you've ever gone to Ross or to a Burlington coat factory and you're just going through all the trash, just trying to find something that you like, YouTube is very much kind of like that. The great thing about YouTube is that there is something for everybody here on this platform. So I really have to give my kudos to the YouTube gods, as I say. But yes, this is 100% real. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who claim that their things are real, that their videos are real, but yet we still see people, doors are flying open and people are being drug out of homes, and people are getting 100% perfect responses every single time. Here is the absolute truth about ITC and paranormal, is that something is not going to happen every single time. It's not. On this channel, there are videos where I'm trying to reach out to someone, or I'm trying to hope that something will happen, and either it's just a lot of randomness or we don't get anything. And so it does happen. The paranormal world, the work in paranormal is a lot like the military and a lot like working in television and film. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. So yes, what I do is real, and I would like to think that I have been able to prove that on a few different levels. One, I have done this in front of people. Two, I do live sessions quite often, and you're able to go back, and see the edited version as well as the live version, and you're able to see that I have not put anything in, or I've not taken anything out. So I just lost my train of thought. So sorry, guys. So yes, what I do is real. And this is going to be readdressed in a few other questions that have come my way. Okay, next up. So this is one that happens quite often, is people, they write in and they say, you're talking to demons. These are demons that you're talking to. We have no proof, guys. We really have no proof. And to speak in such a definitive that this is absolutely what you are speaking with, I have a hard time with, because we don't know. We don't know. If you are to study the science of the universe, physicists will tell you that there is a balance, that there is always a balance. And I believe that is the case as well in the spirit world. So as much as there are higher vibrational beings, and call them what you will, angels, protectors, that there's also going to be the lower vibrational beings, and you can call them demons, or you can just call them lower vibrational beings, whatever works for you. So there's always going to be a balance. And fact of the matter is, if you go through and if you listen through my sessions, both have come in. Because, guys, there's always, in my opinion, there's always a balance. So to say that I'm only getting in demons, I believe is a fallacy. Okay, stop copying Steve Huff. This will be the last time I talk about this. If anybody mentions this again, I'm just going to... In fact, if anybody mentions any of these topics again, I'm just going to redirect them to this video. I have made it very, very abundantly clear on this channel, and I have been extremely transparent, that yes, I have seen Steve Huff's videos. Over 1 million people have seen Steve Huff's videos. I personally do not have a problem with the man. I don't know the man, so I can't have an issue with him. Do I know exactly how he does his sessions? No, I don't. Do I have my own theories? I do. But I am not out to copy him. I am not out to mimic what he does. Mr. Huff is not the only person who does this. He's not the only person who has ever done this. I have been involved in spirit communication for over 25 years. I've been around spirit since the age of 5. And yes, there was a time that I was scared, that I didn't understand it, and so I backed away from it. But then I started to re-educate myself, and I started to come back into it. And only the past 2 or 3 years, I think about 2 years now, have I actually made it this public. So, have I watched him? Yes. Have I learned a few things? He gave me some ideas. But I've also have learned from the Warrens. I have learned from books that I've read. I've learned from doing meditations and studying yoga and Hinduism. I have learned from so many different sources, and not just one. So, to say that I am copying him, again, is a fallacy. What are the letters after my name? Now, on a few videos, you will see that it'll say Philip Page, QMHA, MBA. And depending on the video would be why those letters are there. The reason that they are there is partially because, depending on the topic, I want you to know that I actually have somewhat of a background in research, in study, especially since a lot of what I talk about has to do with the biology of the human being, how the body works in relation to energy, and how energy is transferred after we pass on. So QMHA stands for Qualified Mental Health Associate. In my undergrad, I studied psychology and business management. And so for about 9 years, I worked in health and human services. A lot of that having to do with understanding the brain. So again, QMHA, Qualified Mental Health Associate, which means I am qualified to work in a counseling arena, that I can be a one-on-one counselor, I can be a group counselor, which I have done these things. I've been a crisis behavioral counselor, and 101 other things in the social services field. And of course, MBA stands for a Master's in Business Administration. So basically, both degrees are business related. However, my undergrad also has an equal amount of psychology. So that's what those letters stand for. You are not getting direct responses. Again, we have to revisit one of the prior topics. There are people out there who they will make claims that they can get whoever they want, whenever they want, in their own voices. And if you watch their channel, that will most definitely seem like a truth. And when you watch my channel, or maybe somebody else's, it'll seem like the answers are very sporadic, or they're not direct, or they're not getting people in their original voices. Well, because there's a difference between real, honest ITC and those who are looking to meet expectations of their viewers. Now, we see the same thing in produced shows like Ghost Adventures, and I forget, there's so many ghost shows out right now, I can't keep up with it, but where they will, every single episode, you know that something is going to happen, and you know something is going to happen because it's happened before. And the best way we can predict future behavior is by past behavior. So networks know this. YouTubers know this. And so to keep the viewers coming back, to keep their watch times up, they make sure that something happens each and every video. And with some, that means getting direct responses each and every time, because the viewer wants to hear what the spirit has to say. And usually people don't want to work at trying to hear what's being said. Now, I apologize. With my channel, sometimes you do have to work a little bit at it. But I am getting direct responses in a lot of cases. Now, it may not be a direct yes or no. A lot of times, the responses that come through on my channel are very dreamlike. It's almost like subconscious answering a question. So, for example, if I said, or if I asked, did you enjoy your time on Earth? You would expect an answer to be either yes or no. But instead, a lot of times what you will hear is something along the lines of a spirit saying, that is a probability, or he knows not, or something along those lines. So what we have to look at is, that is a probability, meaning probability is a loose answer for yes. The other one's a loose answer for no. So we have to take a look at that. I believe the reason for that is because when we pass on, our energy moves back to the atomic form. Consciousness, which is energy, which moves on a wave, goes back to the atomic form. Our bodies help harness that energy, help control that energy. The brain, which has the synapse that fires back and forth to help control the body, helps control, I think, to some degree, those thoughts. Now, I don't know. I don't know 100% if that's the case. It's a theory of mine. And so, to be able to always, and I mean always, give a direct, I'm fine, hey, life is great, yeah, the body was good, but hey, floating around in the ethereal is even better. It's not always going to happen. At least I feel it's not always going to happen. Based off my experience, it's not always going to happen. So do I get responses? Yes. Are they the same responses as what other people have claimed? No, and there's a reason for that, because what I do is real. Hey, your videos are boring. Yeah, I've heard that. When we were on Amazon, we heard that. And every now and then I get that now too. And here's the thing, guys. There are two types of creators on YouTube. There are those who are creating entertainment, and there are those who are creating education. I have never claimed that my channel is an entertainment channel. I've never claimed that. And I will never claim that. My channel is more of a diary of what my findings are, and I am sharing with you. It does teeter more on the educational side. It teeters more on the thinking person's side. So, paranormal is boring, guys. I mean, it really is. There's a lot of things that people do to redirect the eye, to, make it more interesting. The SLS camera was one of those things, just as an example. And it is what it is. I won't apologize for what I do, because I sleep very well at night with what I do. And if my channel is boring, if you're wanting to be entertained, then perhaps please go watch someone else. They can't understand you if they live in another country. We, in my opinion, we have to think above and beyond what a spirit is. Again, my opinion, from the study that I have done, once the energy has left the body, you're no longer tied to the limitations of the body. For one, guys, I feel that we are all here for an experience. So, if we are a 30-something who lives in Paris, France during the 1918 period, it's for a specific experience. And then when we die, I believe that we now have universal knowledge in a lot of cases. I'm not saying always, but in a lot of cases. So I personally do not believe that a person, once they die, they still only understand French, or they still only understand Hebrew, or what have you. I think there is a wider field of understanding when it comes to this. So I will continue asking questions in English, because I only know English and some Vietnamese and Japanese, and I don't think King Henry VIII was fluent in Southern Vietnamese. The Bible says you shouldn't do this. This is probably the number one thing that comes across my desk quite often, is a lot of biblical references. Now, I understand fully that there are millions of people out there in the world who are very beholden to their faith, whatever it may be. And most of them are very Christian-based, which I was raised in a Pentecostal household. My grandmother was Southern Baptist. And a lot of what I hear come to me are things I was told as a kid as well. As I grew older, I realized the church wasn't answering all of my questions. people in the church weren't answering all of my questions. And I really got tired of hearing, well, God works in mysterious ways, even though the Bible basically says, feel free, ask questions, get to know God. So I backed away. I stepped out, I took a breath, and I took a wider view of religion. And realized that all religions, if you strip away the dogma of all of them, that they're all teaching the same thing. And that is be kind to one another, love one another, so forth and so on. So, well, okay, fine. So we've got that. But if you are to actually study the history of the Bible, the Old Testament was written well before the time of Christ, and the Bible itself, the New Testament, was written well after the time of Christ. In some cases, in some books of the Bible, up to 200 to 300 years after the time of Christ. And a lot of the stories in the Bible are parables meant to teach lessons, such as Adam and Eve, because really there was no one there to document Adam and Eve. There is a belief that it's a parable to teach parents how to raise kids and what it's like to raise kids. So, personally, I feel that we have to have a wider understanding of what spirit is and not so much religion. Now, I understand that this is a sensitive topic. I am not trying to offend anyone by any means. This is simply my belief. Do I have my own spiritual beliefs? Of course I do. Absolutely I do. But to loosely criticize someone in what they do based off of one's own religious beliefs, if we want to play this card, actually goes against what a lot of those religions teach. He is who is without sin, cast the first stone, so to speak. So I'll leave it to that. Times, in fact, many times in my videos, that I will edit out the very first thing that I do, simply because for many of you, I mean, if some people think that my videos are boring now, they would really be bored at that point. But I always say a prayer. I always ask for protection and guidance. And no, I'm not scared when I go into this. Now, have there been a few times that my heart has raced? Absolutely. Because, again, we don't really know who or what we are talking to or dealing with. But I do always say a prayer, and I always give thanks. And after the end of each session, I do give thanks again, and I ask that everybody be returned unless they are going for the light, and then I ask that those doorways be closed. Alright guys, so I hope that this answers some of the more basic questions for you. If you have any other questions, please feed them my way. Let me say that again without stuttering. Feed them my way, guys, because I actually do enjoy hearing from you, and I enjoy responding to you. Now, I apologize if I don't always get to it right away, but I always try to return your messages as much as I can, even if it's just a heart that is left. Alright, guys, again, I want to thank you so much for your time, and I will talk to you next time, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.